Okay, so this is going to be a video about Omni-Man. Welcome back. Okay, so I'm kind of just going to get into it. This is going to be a quick one. So, I feel like we have less sympathy, or certain people have less sympathy for Omni-Man than they should. Because it's like, okay, I get that he's a conqueror. He tried to conquer Earth and he killed like a bunch of people. But listen, let's see it from Omni-Man's point of view. Okay, so Omni-Man, he was raised on Viltrum. Viltrum is basically a planet full of sociopaths, psychopaths, and like people with mental disorders. Like even medieval soldiers report having PTSD, and then say on Viltrum, you can't even show weakness. In medieval times, you could kind of show a little weakness, even in private. But on Viltrum, you couldn't even show that in private. And even some Viltrumites still had it. Like even Omni-Man still had traces of empathy and even human connection and human closeness. Like when his father and mother beat him, he still refers to them as father and mother. And then when he instinctively reaches for his father's hand instead of just like getting up by himself. You can even see that in the flashback scene. So that flashback scene should have made y'all understand Omni-Man more. Cause you can't really fault the soldier for, well, you can, but understand, like, it's a soldier. He follows orders. He's raised to follow orders. He's not raised to go against the grain and be like, oh, let me do something else or let me just do this. They're not taught that. They're indoctrinated from birth. It's kind of like people in North Korea. I need to make a video about that too. But it's kind of like people in North Korea. They won't try to stand up or rise up to Kim Jong-un because they know one Kim Jong-un will kill them. That's the only home they ever known. They really don't see like empathy and I was talking about Omni-Man. They really don't see empathy and stuff like that. But the only thing about it, they don't know like any other lands. Like they don't know, oh, how good it is in say America, how much freedom of speech and stuff you have. Like we can say anything about Trump right now, and then it's like they won't care. No one to care. Like it'll just be like, or anything about any leader we ever have. No one to care. What they're not going to come to our house and kill us, drag us out, and stuff like that. Because that's just unhumane. That's not going to happen in America, and that's why we have freedom of speech and things. But they don't know that because their only praise to worship Kim Jong Un is this God. Like Viltrum, they're praised to worship like dragging their rulers as gods, but they're also praised, but dragging their rulers kind of are gods and kind of are have strength like that to dominate them. And then they're raised to think that weakness is a bad thing and emotions are a bad thing and things that get you killed. And even Thrag himself has showed weakness. He showed weakness with Thetis. And then what did Thetis do? Thetis killed him. Kill Emperor Argyle. He showed weakness because he fought alongside Thetis and he was like, maybe Thetis ain't bad. But then he was like, oh, that's what happens when I show weakness. It leads to this. And then he was like, okay, we have to purge all the weakness. And then Nolan sees that and he doesn't, what's it called, want to get purged himself. Then you see when Nolan comes to Earth, he immediately, like, it's not probably as immediate, but he immediately started showing a little bit of a softer side. Like this feelings in his heart have been suppressed for so long, it just started to come out. Even with art, he was like, oh, my remarks about the suit were unkind because he said the suit was bad and stuff. He was like, oh, maybe it was unkind of me to say that. If he was just a Viltrumite warrior and just so just oh I don't care, he wouldn't have just did that. He would have just been like, nah, I don't care. But Debbie and even that, it's like he should have just been like, okay, let me bust. Okay, I'll see if I got her pregnant. Okay, let me go do that. Let me go to somebody else. Okay, let me just go around. But he stayed with one partner, which would have been so. If they could have, well, he had to see what Mark be a suitable candidate, but he probably should have still made more babies to see, okay, once he saw that Mark, okay, let me see if he inherits my shit, and let me go this. He could have had multiple families. Even in secret, he could have had multiple families because he was always going out to save the world and stuff. But Cecil probably would have expected something, but at the same time he could have did that, but he didn't. He stayed loyal and stayed on his earth because he craved that human connection so much, but he didn't realize that. And we will see that in Invincible season 5. We will see how much they crave the human connection that was never gave to them on Viltrum and crave that closeness. They crave something like a hug. Something like a hug would mean so much to them because that's something they never got on their planet. Which is why I don't see why people feel like Nolan is such a bad guy, but at the same time, it's like these are just how they were raised, and they're getting untaught these things. Like these things are slowly coming down. The armor is slowly coming off. That's why indoctrination hurts so much. Like if you were raised by mafia, serial killers, or anything that's crime, you will start seeing crime and stuff as normal. If you were raised in an abusive household or domestic abuse, you would see that as normal. You would see these things as normal over time, even though they're not. And being told that they're not normal would make you question life and make you question things, question your existence. So that's how Nolan feels when he originally comes to Earth. And then when he has a son, does he be kind of cold and distant towards Mark? No. He accepts Mark for the person he is. He even gives Mark a little more leeway. That's usually something when your parents were heavily abused or were neglected, they'll usually show a little bit of a softer side because they wish that's what someone did to them. They'll show that in like your development and they will probably give their child more slack than someone that gave them. Their child may talk back more to them than their parents will let them talk back to them, so on and so forth. But that's just to say that if you're indoctrinated from birth to believe something, you're going to believe it. But if you get questions about it and someone is constantly teaching you the right way, you will grow eventually to not believe this frame of thinking anymore. But that's gonna be my video on Omni-Man. I plan to cover characters like Thrag, Dula. I think I want to even cover Mark and Oliver because they're interesting. Even Conquest I kind of want to cover to be honest, because that I'm so lonely. Yeah. But tune in to next time. Bye.